Hi, I'm Hobie-One, and this is Red Share Reading. Today I'm reading Midnight by the great Dean R. Koontz, Chapter 2. Let's go. On Monday, October 13th, 22 days after the death of Janice Capshaw, Sam Booker drove his rental car from San Francisco International Airport to Moonlight Cove. During the trip, he played a grim, yet darkly amusing game with himself, making a mental list of reasons to go on living. Although he was on the road for more than an hour and a half, he could think of only 4 things. Guinness Stout, excellent. Really good Mexican food, yummy. Goldie Hawn, excellent. And fear of death, okay. That thick, dark Irish brew never failed to please him and to provide a brief surcease from the sorrows of the world. Restaurants consistently serving first-rate Mexican food were of more difficult to locate than Guinness. Its solace was therefore more elusive. Sam had long been in love with Goldie Hawn, or the screen image she projected, because she was beautiful and cute, earthly and intelligent, and seemed to find life in so much damn fun. His chances of meeting Goldie Hawn were about 1,000,000 times worse than finding a great Mexican restaurant in a Northern California coastal town like Moonlight Cove, so he was glad that she was not the only reason he had for living. As he drew near his destination, tall pines and cypresses crowded Highway 1, forming a gray-green tunnel, casting long shadows in the afternoon light. The day was cloudless, yet strangely forbidding. The sky was pale blue, bleak in spite of its crystalline clarity, unlike the tropical blue to which he was accustomed in Los Angeles. Yeah, right. It was probably yellow air in the 70s, man. Though the temperature was in the 50s, hard sunshine, like glare bouncing off a field of ice, seemed to freeze the colors of the landscape and dull them with a haze of imitation frost. Fear of death, that was the best reason on his list. Though he was just 42 years old, 5 feet 11, 170 pounds, and currently healthy, Sam Booker had skated along the edge of death 6 times, had peered into the waters below, and had not found the plunge inviting. A road sign appeared on the right side of the highway. Ocean Avenue, Moonlight Cove, 2 miles. Sam was not afraid of the pain of dying, for that would pass in a flicker. Neither was he afraid of leaving his life unfinished. For several years he had harbored no goals or hopes or dreams. So there was nothing to finish, no purpose or meaning, but he was afraid of what lay beyond life. 5 years ago, more dead than alive, on an operating room table, he had undergone a near-death experience. While surgeons worked frantically to save him, he had risen out of his body and, from the ceiling, looked down on his carcass and the medical team surrounding it. Then suddenly, he'd found himself rushing through a tunnel toward dazzling light, toward the other side, the entire near-death cliché that was a staple of sensationalistic supermarket tabloids. At the penultimate moment, the skillful physicians had pulled him back into the land of the living. But not before he had been afforded a glimpse of what lay beyond the mouth of that tunnel. What he'd seen had scared the crap out of him. Life, though often cruel, was preferable to confronting what he now suspected lay beyond it. He reached the Ocean Avenue exit. At the bottom of the ramp, as Ocean Avenue turned west under Pacific Coast Highway, another sign read, Moonlight Cove, 1/2 mile. A few houses were tucked in the purple gloom among the trees on both sides of the 2-lane blacktop. Their windows glowed with a soft yellow light even an hour before nightfall. Some were of that half-timbered, deep-eaved Bavarian architecture that a few builders in the 1940s and 50s had mistakenly believed was in harmony with the Northern California coast. Others were Monterey-style bungalows with white clapboard or shingle-covered walls, cedar-shingled roofs, and rich, if fairy tale rococo, architectural details. Rococo. Since Moonlight Cove had enjoyed much of its growth in the past 10 years, a large number of houses were sleek, modern, many-windowed structures that looked like ships tossed up on some unimaginably high tide, stranded now on these hillsides above the sea. When Sam followed Ocean Avenue into the 6-block commercial district, a peculiar sense of wrongness immediately overcame him. Shops, restaurants, taverns, a market, 2 churches, the town library, a movie theater, and other unremarkable establishments lined the main drag, which sloped down toward the ocean. But to Sam's eyes, there was an indefinable, though powerful strangeness about the community that gave him a chill. He could not identify the reasons for his instant negative reaction to the place, though perhaps it was related to the somber interplay of light and shadow. At this dying end of the autumn day, in the cheerless sunlight, the gray stone Catholic church looked like an alien edifice of steel, erected for no human purpose. A white stucco liquor store gleamed as if built from time-bleached bones. Many shop windows were cataracted with ice-white reflections of the sun as it sought the horizon. As if painted to conceal the activities of those who worked beyond them, the shadows cast by the buildings, by the pines and cypress were stark, spiky, razor-edged. Sam braked at a stoplight at the 3rd intersection, halfway through the commercial district. With no traffic behind him, he paused to study the people on the sidewalks. Not many were in sight, 8 or 10, and they also struck him as wrong, though his reasons for thinking ill of them were less definable than those that formed his impression of the town itself. They walked briskly, purposefully, heads up, with a peculiar air of urgency that seemed unsuited to a lazy seaside community of only 3,000 souls. If this is interesting to you, please be sure to boop the like button. You'll help the video spread to other people. And thank you very much. He sighed and continued down Ocean Avenue, telling himself that his imagination was running wild. Moonlight Cove and the people in it probably would not have seemed the least unusual if he had just been passing by on a long trip and turned off the coast highway only to have dinner at a local restaurant. Instead, he had arrived with the knowledge that something was rotten there, like Denmark. So, of course, he saw ominous signs of a perfectly innocent scene. At least that was what he told himself, but he knew better. He had come to Moonlight Cove because people had died there, because the official explanations for their deaths were suspicious. And he had a hunch that the truth, once uncovered, would be unusually disturbing. Over the years, he had learned to trust his hunches. That trust had kept him alive. He parked the rented Ford in front of a gift shop. To the west, at the far end of a slate-gray sea, the anemic sun sank through a sky that was slowly turning muddy red. Serpentine tendrils of fog began to rise off the choppy water. Wow. That is the end of Chapter 2. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again in Chapter 3. So let's take this journey together. All right. Bye.